Good morning. We're talking money today, okay? We're talking money today. We have a special guest. You know her. We're going to still introduce her like we don't know her, but that'll come in just a second. But good morning, everyone. We're talking about the financial confidence to live your dreams, right? How to make the money moves that will put you in the position to live your dreams. Yeah, that's what we're talking about today. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, SM. Good morning, Elaine. Good morning, Delina. Good morning, Wendy. I'm going to introduce my guest. I don't even know if it's necessary. Good morning, Rosanna from Waffle Cat Studio. Good morning, KH. Good morning, Jillian Blair. But I think that sounds mean. I'm very excited to have Adelia on today. We're going to do a real introduction in just a second. I'm very excited to have her on today, but she's in the chat all the time. She's given you information already. She's already been super helpful to you for weeks and weeks and weeks. But it's been a while since we've gone live. We went live talking about Black women. Is it time for Black women to leave America? I don't know. I'm going to guess that was more than a year ago. So it's time. So it's due
Yeah,
time.
no, that was like maybe April
Was
2020
it? Okay. So we're going
because I
on
was
the
still in China.
Yes, you were. Yes, well over a year. That's right. You were still in China, the bad old days. So we're talking about something. We're talking about money, right? We're talking about the specifics today. This is not like to inspire you. This is not to make you feel good. Not to make you feel good, quite literally. It's to get you a plan on paper. We can't do that until we actually talk money. All right, so good morning, everyone. I'm glad to have you here. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Stephanie Perry. I am a year-round house sitter. I'm the creator of House Sitter School, and I help Black women take a sabbatical or move abroad on a budget. If that sounds good to you, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell and turn on notifications so that you will be notified when I post a new video or when I go live with an awesome guest. Welcome. And welcome to you, Adelia. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good. Okay, so Adelia. Okay, will you introduce yourself and then I will introduce you again? Okay.
Oh gosh. I'm horrible at
You can
introductions.
do it.
I'm Adalia Aborisade, although most of you probably know me as Picky Girl Travels the World, as I am a picky eater and I do my best to travel the world when there's not a pandemic. And I help Black women master their money so they can live the life of their dreams, whatever that happens to look like. You know, for me, that was a life centered on travel, but I'm helping everybody do what it is they need to do.
Yes. All right, so my introduction would be Adelia helps you get your FU money together, right? I'm not going to say the word because I want all of the sponsorship coins and all of the all of the YouTube monetization coins, right? So I'm not going to say the FU, the F word, but she helps you get that money together so you can say goodbye to a situation that's not serving you. Adelia has left a job that was not serving her more than once. Adelia has left a country that was not serving her. She's no longer married. She's divorced now. She's left a relationship that was not serving her. And she's been able to do those things because she's got her money together. And she helps
Yeah.
other women get their money together. That's the difference maker, right? I always say things are the difference maker, and everything is like community is the difference maker, right? But money, having your coins together, your shmoney, right, is the difference maker between this is an idea and this is what I'm actually doing. Money takes you from the dream to the plan. All right, so I'm
Yeah.
glad
No, money gives you options.
it does. I'm glad to have everybody here today. I wanted to give you guys a little bit more time to get in because I did not send a text message. I'm sorry. All on me, 100%. I was just sitting here putting on eyebrows when I was supposed to set up the text message. So I'm sorry. I might send it real quick while Adelia's talking. All right. So I do want to ask you guys if you would. Okay, so Adelia and I both get to talk to women who are ready to make a big change. And I think it's fair to say that we see women who are in they're like categories that we could say, right? Four different boxes or categories or whatever. Women who have no idea what they can and can't afford, right? Women who are already working on their plan, their money wise, their expat plan, but maybe feel some doubt, right? Money who think they have Women who think they have the money to do the thing, but just aren't sure, right? They think they have it, but they're not super confident about it. And then women who have the money, got it together, and are out the door. Let's see. I'm trying to copy this, but I can't paste it in here. So can you give me a shrug in the chat if you are, I wonder why I can't copy this. A shrug in the chat if you don't know yet. If you don't have any clear picture of what you can and can't afford in terms of moving abroad or taking a sabbatical. If you don't know, leave the shrug emoji in the chat. Let's see. Shrug. I have no idea. Okay, I have to do these. Okay, and then leave a globe if you are working on a plan. And then leave a money bag if you think you have the money to live that dream, but you're just not sure. And then leave a door if you're out the door. Okay, I'm sorry I had to do these separately. It wouldn't let me copy and paste them as one. Okay, if you would let us know where you are in the chat so we can know what we're talking about today, because you're guiding this discussion as usual. You're guiding things. I have some questions I want to ask Adelia, but we need to know where you are, and what's happening with you. Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, so I've got some shrugs. Hi, cutie pie. Okay. Lydia's dropped the shrug, down to earth, the shrug, A Chafin, the shrug. All right. We've got face palms and shrugs and a plethora of emojis from Lala7181. All right, thank you. All right, Real, I'm just saying, shrug. Celeste, the shrug. Okay, Dee Dee. Are you surprised by the balance or imbalance, Adelia?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I had hoped to see a few more money bags,
Mhm.
but it doesn't surprise me, but I was hoping to see a few more of those. And I saw somebody made a comment that it was too late to live their dream. And we don't believe that around
No,
here.
no. No, we don't. I'm sorry I missed that. I'm gonna go back and find you so we can talk to you about the thing.
Gina Rivers,
Hi,
maybe the name
Gina.
was.
Gina, I think you know better. I've tried not to chastise people very much here on this channel, but Gina, I think you know better. I hope that you've been here long enough to see that that's not the case. I hope so. I hope that you have seen women your age and older who are doing it. As I've said, you're younger than you're ever going to be again, right? You're younger than you're ever going to be again. This time in 5 years, you'll be like, oh, I wish I had done that thing in 2021 when I was thinking about it and I thought I was too old. What did I know? You ever look back at pictures of yourself? Well, I don't know, Adelia, you're a kind of a small person. When I look back at pictures
No,
of myself,
I look at those pictures and I think, wow, I really thought I was chubby then. And I was wrong.
yes, it's like that with age too. Yes, when I look back at pictures, I remember in high school being afraid to wear sleeveless tops. I was like, child, that body was banging. What was I thinking? What was going on in my brain that I thought that I was not just that I thought I was fat in general, but I thought I was too fat, right? Same thing with age. I think the age is the same thing. Gina, you need to make sure that you have an inner circle of women who are your age who are doing it. Okay? If you don't know where to find them, somebody please in the group tell her where to find them. Yeah. Would y'all agree? It's like that. Money and age age is like that where you think you're too old because you hear 30-year-olds being like, is it too late to go to college? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's true, Nina. You are younger today than you're ever going to be again. Take advantage of that. Take advantage of it. Okay, so I wasn't surprised to see so many shrugs because talking to Black women, I know that we feel we do sometimes underestimate how much we've actually done, right? We underestimate how much money we actually have put aside, how much we've saved, how much progress we've made towards a goal. We do set kind of underestimate. So I'm not surprised to see the shrugs, and I would guess that some of these shrugs are from people who are actually ready to go out the door and just don't know it yet, right? And so that's why we're talking about confidence today. All right. Okay, so I've been talking and talking and talking. Okay, so Adelia, let's talk about youth is wasted on the young. Yes, it's sad
Oh,
but
it is.
true.
It is so wasted on the young.
It's sad but true. But now that we know that, right, we can govern ourselves accordingly and say, oh, maybe this thing that's happening in my brain is just wasteful thoughts. Maybe it's not really what's happening. Okay. Good morning. Okay. So let me get to it. Let me get to a comment. All right. So this was the question. Leave a shrug in the chat if you have no idea if you can afford a career break or a move abroad. Leave a globe if you're working on the plan, but you're feeling a little doubt. Leave the money bags if you think you have the money to go now to live your dream, but you're not sure. And then leave a door if you're out the door. Okay. Okay, so let's talk a little bit to our friends who are shrugging in the chat. What is the first thing that we need to know? What is a thing that we need to know in order to have a handle on the move abroad money, right? Or this FU pile of money, right? How do we get started getting our FU pile together? What's step one?
I think step one is you have to look at what is your current situation. Um, when I work with clients and I ask, so what are your expenses? Like how much do you bring in a month versus how much you spend?
Mhm.
And a lot of them can't answer that question. So if you're already feeling like I don't know if I have enough money, well, and you have no idea how you're spending the money you do have, that's where I would say to start is to figure out where is your money going
Mhm.
already before then from there you can then figure out, okay, do I have extra? If I don't, what, you can make the adjustments you need to, but that's first you've got to have a clear idea about where is your money going, how much do you have, and where is it going.
So are we just talking about bills? Like look at your bills?
Bills, spending, everything, like because where is it going? Are you chick-fil-aing yourself into a situation where you can't move abroad? I don't mean to
I,
step on any toes, but those are the kinds of questions you got to ask yourself.
I thought my Uber Eats receipts were only sent to me. Are you getting my Uber Eats receipts or all right. So when I saved back in 2015, when I saved that $14,000 to take a year off, a significant amount of that money that I saved over a 15-month period came from things like cooking my own meals. Which I hate that advice though. How do you actually feel about that advice?
For me, it's about prioritizing.
Okay.
As much as you might have enjoyed not cooking your own meals, you valued the ability to be able to travel for a year more. Therefore, you prioritized that and sacrificed and cooked at home.
Yeah. So I feel like sometimes people, when they're talking money, especially to women, they're like, "Oh, you're so wasteful. You're doing, you're spending $4 on coffee, right?" When sometimes it's a matter of that $4, or I'm losing my sanity for the day. I cannot pull it together. There's not a second in my day to make a coffee and to whatever, right? So it may not be, yeah. It's not. Sometimes it's not a difference between $4. It's not. Sometimes it's worth the $4.
Yes, sometimes it is. I'm never going to tell somebody to deprive themselves, but at the same time, it is a trade-off. So, if I need that Starbucks because I'm going to choke these people I work with otherwise, I'll keep buying the Starbucks, but that just means it might take me a little longer to be able to make my move.
Mm-hmm. So I guess the first steps, we said the first step is look at your money, but maybe the first step is really like decide what you want.
Yeah. What is it that you want? What is the priority? Um, and I mean, like, that's what I had to do in my own life. The priority for me was travel. Like, and so I had to reorient my life in such a way that that became the priority. So what did that mean? There was a point, and if y'all have ever heard me say anything, I don't like sharing my space with other people. So there was a point when I even considered, like, do I need to get a roommate to free up more money so that I could have this life that I wanted? And that's huge. That's huge for me. So yeah, it's about figuring out what it is you want. What is the priority?
So how did this start for you?
Oh, let's see. What's the short version of this story? Um, for me personally, I had to figure out that I had to be honest with myself about my unhappiness living the life that I had,
Mm-hmm.
because on the surface, it looked like, well, this is the American dream.
Mm-hmm.
And that dream wasn't given what it was supposed to give. So once I started asking those questions, well, if you're not happy with this, what does make you happy?
Mm-hmm.
And so as I figured out what that was, it was like, okay, so how do I get that?
Uh-huh.
What has to change so that I can have that life? And then that then caused a shift in everything else.
And you said the thing was travel. The thing that you wanted was travel. But was it originally to leave travel or just more travel, right? Was it actually move abroad travel, or was originally the plan travel? You know what I mean?
It was travel in any any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
Um, Leaving was always there, but that wasn't the immediate goal.
Okay. Okay. All right. What, so what I know from our first conversation is that your first time leaving the United States to live abroad was when you went to teach in Honduras.
Hmm.
And so that included a job and pay, a job and pay, you and your daughter. Your daughter was a teenager at the time. Did you have to have a pile of cash to make that decision, to make that move? Was your money together back then?
My money was on its way to getting together.
Okay. Okay.
um, but I did realize that, okay, I've got a kid I need to be able to feed and house, and I realized that I needed to educate her. That was the bigger concern moving abroad with a 15-year-old, was being able to afford her education.
Okay.
And because I taught, um, and was looking at schools that would include tuition, um, that was a big deal, because otherwise, her tuition would have been 50% of my salary, because
Yeah.
I ain't make no money in Honduras.
So what did you do?
Well, like I said, if they had not included that,
Oh, that's right.
that life would not have been an option. But I was, I guess, because I'm really thinking about your question, there weren't for me big money concerns, because it was like I was going to have a job, but I took a 60% pay cut to take that job.
Hmm.
So let's say if I had had a lot of debt stateside, that would have made that move. Maybe that move wouldn't have been an option for me. So
Right.
I guess, yeah, my money was on its way together, because I was in a position that I could afford to take a 60% pay cut.
Okay. Okay. All right. So do we want to talk about debt? Yeah.
We can. We can. You know me, I'll talk about anything, just about.
Let's see. So I know that when people are talking about moving abroad or even affording a sabbatical, their question is like, am I supposed to pay off my debt before I go? What what do you tell them about this? I always tell them try to pay off everything except for the student loan debt. Like,
Yeah. Because I have a very debt is the tool of the oppressor. Okay, so I'm sort of very anti-debt to begin with, but it's an albatross. It's going to hamstring whatever adventures you're trying to have. So yes, try your best to eliminate as much of it as you possibly can. And I'm like you said, I'm not talking about student loans. That's a whole different conversation. But you don't want to be out there trying to live this new life, but so much of your resources are having to go back to the US. So yes, I typically recommend eliminating as much of that as possible. Um, but there may be a situation where you can structure the debt in such a way that that you can still do it. Because I don't like to say, well, you can't do this until you do that. Because no,
Yeah.
anything is possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So Krishan says she just broke up with Netflix. So one of the things, so we talked about the fact that I stopped buying food, buying prepared meals, and started cooking my own food. I also cut out, what's it called? DirecTV. I was paying like $100 a month in DirecTV and didn't realize it. Krishan has taken it to the next level because, girl, Netflix is. So you're okay. So you've added your Netflix money into your Exodus money. Krishan is black sitting in 2023. She just told us. All right, so that's on your plan to get rid of that everything, right? Cut back everything. How are you feeling about this, Krishan? Are you still watching? Do you still get to enjoy your evenings and watch stuff? Do you feel like that was let's see, she's allergic to that. Do you feel like that was too I'm sorry. Okay, I've sent the text now. Okay, so now I've done the things that had me distracted. Okay, but Krishan, do you feel like that? Have you crossed the line into cutting out things that you enjoy, right? That are not giving you a big payout, or do you feel like that was okay? It could go. Okay, Cutie Pie says her student loan debt is the only debt she has, and that's between Joe Biden and yeah, I think it'll be. I think that most people. I don't know. Most people's student loan debt will probably be wiped out soon, right? It won't be too much longer. Okay. All right, Angela says that's interesting. Moving with a teen, I feel like I need to wait a minute. Oh, I need to wait for mine to graduate before I indulge my wanderlust. Why did you? We talked about this. We talked in depth about this, Angela, in the "Is it time for Black women to leave America" video. But Adelia, do you want to tell us why you decided to do it then instead of just waiting? A lot of women right here in the chat are just waiting 3, 4 years for their kids to graduate. I think Krishan is my. No, I don't know. Yeah, just waiting a little bit for the kids to graduate.
And that was my original goal. Because when I got divorced, she was in the 8th grade. And so I was like, let me just get her through high school and then I'm out. And the more I thought about it, I was like, well, how much of me is going to be left in the 4 years before she's out? Like, for me, it was a choice of choosing what I knew I had to do or the possibility of losing myself by staying.
Yeah.
And she had the choice. She didn't have to come with me because I don't know many kids who are like, yay, let's move to Honduras. But I opted not to wait because life is too short.
Yeah.
And I thought she could benefit from the experience, and she did. She had an incredible experience, even in a country like Honduras, where, we had security issues and all kinds of stuff. The people she was able to come in contact with and interact with, they opened her eyes up to new possibilities, which is why she is now out in West Texas studying agriculture, and sustainable development because of she was already interested in agriculture before, but the whole sustainable piece that came into her mind when we were in Honduras, and it's because of that experience.
Yeah, the same way that you're going to benefit, that your kids will benefit, right? Like they're humans. They're going to benefit from things just like you will. Yeah, so if you feel like if you feel like leaving the country is going to benefit you, think about what it's going to do for your kids. Yeah. Yeah. I'm taking Radiance. Hi, Radiance Walker. I'm taking my 8-year-old with me. I want to leave the U.S. as soon as possible. My son is excited with the idea. Yeah, your kids, just like you're going to grow and learn and rest and form new relationships, so will they. I don't have kids, but that's what I think. Yeah, Angela says her daughter's in 8th grade too. Yeah, I think they need a sabbatical also. And now we've seen how easy it is to take kids, how easy it is to still school kids without them going to a physical school building. Yeah, just do it now, right? Like, just go now. Okay, so I've seen your question, but it keeps scrolling past me. L.E. Edwards. What if you okay, so we talked about the idea of clearing out the debt so you don't carry old debt into your new life, except student loans. Again, we're not talking about student loans, but we're talking about the credit, the unsecured stuff. But L.E. Edwards says, what if you have bad credit and have to file for bankruptcy?
Okay.
Your your credit is U.S.
Yeah.
credit. It does not follow you around the world.
Yeah, that's between you and whatever state and the creditors you have in the US. That's not going to impact your life in your new place or the new places that you move to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, maybe if you come back to the US, you've had enough time that your credit has rebounded. Like, that's definitely not something that should stand in the way.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, credit is a U.S. thing. It's not going to follow you. They're not going. Nobody. You're not going anywhere, and they're pulling up your Equifax. Okay. All right. Thanks so much for the super chat, friends. I do see them. Fusion Love Stories. Thank you for the super chat. Exodus need to figure out income for life abroad. Okay, we're going to work on it. Thank you. Your super chat today is of course going to Adelia. Thank you very much, Adelia, for your time and your expertise. Thank you kindly, Dr. Elaine Crittenden. How's it going? Hello, Elaine. Welcome, Dr. Elaine. And Doreen, thank you very much for that super chat. Okay, thanks very much. All right, thank you, friends. Okay, on this channel, we give our super chat to Black women creators, and Adelia is one of those. So thanks very much, Adelia. All right, so I'm sorry, I lost where I was. TTS, cosign taking the kids. My son, 11, and I just returned from Grenada after 2.5 months. He matured by leaps and bounds. Definitely recommend. Definitely. Yeah. Don't save it all for yourself. Give them some of the good life too. Let's see. Shay B. In the credit card industry, this is called a bust out. I used to be a credit analyst, and there are people who come to the U.S., establish credit. This is a long game. Come to the U.S., establish credit, take all of that in cash, and then bust out. It's a thing that people do.
It's a choice. It's a choice.
Them Armenians have that game on lock. Okay, it's called a bust out. When I quit my job I quit that job to go to work at the hospital. Well, first I took a break, quit the job, took a break, and then then got a job at the hospital, and then quit that job. Everybody who was still my Facebook friend was like, Stephanie just busted out. Stephanie just executed a bust out. They still call it that when they still holler at me. They're like, hey, how's the bust out going? Yes, that is a thing that people do. All right. Oh, okay. So Gina's saying, okay, bad credit does keep you from obtaining the emergency travel credit card. So you do need it's 2021, right? You do need credit. You do need. So do we have some solutions for people who are in the bankruptcy mix right now and want to still leave?
Well, no, and Gina's right. This is valid because having that credit card is, a lot of folks' emergency plan.
Yeah.
Um, but I think you also have to weigh it, like what, because I guess I'm all about all choices have consequences.
Mhm.
Which are the consequences you can live with?
Yeah.
Maybe keeping that and not filing bankruptcy will be far more detrimental than maybe working a few months and saving up an extra $3,000 to replace what you might have had to put on the credit card.
Okay.
So it's not a zero sum game to me. It's,
Right.
you really have to weigh what is more advantageous in your situation.
That's right. Yes, that's right. Well, I don't. Well, yes, like insurance, right? Either you pay for the insurance or you save up the money and pay out of pocket. Right. Same with the
Yeah.
credit card. Either you have the card or you pay it cash. Pay, not credit card. Yeah. Yeah. So you don't have, it's not like if you don't have one, you can't do things. All right, Hermes Addict. If you don't, so if your credit doesn't follow you, what criteria do they use for foreign mortgages? Yes, we do know. Sometimes in other countries, you're not getting a mortgage, right? You're paying
Yeah.
cash for your accommodation for your home.
I can say that in Mexico there is a credit bureau, but it's kind of a joke because who reports and how accurate the information is dicey. Most people and I'm actually talking to somebody tomorrow about buying property in Mexico. But most people I talked to found it easier to get a loan of some sort in the US and then use that to pay cash as opposed to trying to get a mortgage because we're talking about double digit interest rates, 30% down. It's you know, it's
Yeah,
it's 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 not optimal.
it's not easy. It's not easy to borrow money abroad in general, even for people who live there and have established lives there. It's definitely not easy for people coming from the U.S. to go abroad and borrow money there, right? You get your money either by saving it or whatever, earning it or whatever, and then you take it there to get property abroad. That's the norm. That's what we see as the most common. People who are buying property abroad are not financing it through that country's system.
Hmm.
Yeah, most of the time. All right. Okay, so did I even ask you guys to leave questions? What questions do you have if you are in that first group? If you have no idea how to get started with this money plan, okay? If you have no idea, if you know that you have a thing that you need money for, whether it's a move abroad or a sabbatical or something else, whatever, start a business or whatever, finance something. What is your question about the starting point? If you're at the starting line and you just don't know what the step is to take, what are your questions about getting started? So we've talked about how you need to look at your expenses, set the goal, look at your expenses. What questions do you have about this whole process? Yeah, Radiance Walker says the same thing. She's seen people take out loans in the US to purchase abroad. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much how I think people are doing it. Let's see. Yes, LP Carter writing, student loans are only forgiven for people who are disabled. I think that's what I heard. That's the first group. That's the group right now. So yes, that's the group that's getting their loans forgiven now. But I hope it'll keep rolling. That's just wishful thinking. That's just wishful thinking. I've been adding money to our Polish account for the past couple of years. Hubby was left money when his dad passed away. With the cost of living so low, we're planning to use, okay, you're talking about to buy a property. We're planning to use cash or bank card to buy in Poland. Hi, I don't think I knew you were in Poland. Poland is one of my dream destinations. Okay. All right. What are your questions? Let's see. Do I need content coming soon? Do I need to open a new bank? Only have one, USAA. As a USAA member myself, it's a good option. They're good to have because they don't charge any foreign transaction fees. What you want to be concerned about when you go abroad is that your bank is likely charging you 3% on every single transaction just to access your own money from another country.
I just saw a post maybe 3 days ago of somebody who, um, whatever bank they had, closed or stopped doing business with them. And so they were like, yeah, this new bank I have, I thought I'd be okay with this 3% foreign transaction fees, but I am not.
No,
Because you don't, 3% doesn't sound like a
doesn't sound
lot,
like a lot.
but it is. It is.
And it's your money, right? It's your money, and you're right. That's yeah. It adds up, and it's just the principle of the thing, right? Why are you charging me this? If I make this charge in Mexico, you're charging me more than if I make this charge in Houston. Yeah. All right. Happy day. What are some popular things that have been done to help save money? Alrighty, so what are your money savings? So you look at your expenses. You've got your goal. You've looked at your expenses. Okay, so how are we cutting? How are we cutting things out?
Again, you got to prioritize. And, what can you live without? I am not going to tell you to give up your Starbucks or your avocado toast or whatever if that's the bright spot of your day. But what are those things that you can cut? Because it's two sides of one coin. Either you have to make more money or you have to spend less,
Yes.
because you need that gap between those two things to increase so that you have that.
Hmm.
Um, so for me, I opted not to eliminate a car note as soon as I could. I did not buy a new house. Like I didn't, I cut down my consumption, but that's part of the greater minimalist lifestyle that I live. Um, I didn't get cable. I had a Roku, and I was watching whatever the free stuff you could watch on Roku. I was like, that's fine. If not, I'll find some website online to find what I want to watch. Because in my head, that was just that much more money I could put to the side, and I started selling and eliminating my stuff because I knew ultimately I was going to be gone anyway. So it was kind of all part of the greater plan. But really, it you have to look at what can you live without. We all learn about needs versus wants and all of that, and that's going to be different for everybody.
Hmm. Yeah. Do you feel like do you feel like there are like categories where most of the saving is going to come from? Does that make sense? Where it's easier to
I don't
save.
think so.
You talked about getting a roommate, right? Housing, saving on housing is a big deal. That's a big
Yeah, if
chunk.
you can do that. But when I was preparing to move, because at the same time I was leaving my career, and I was like, I don't care if I got to work at Starbucks. I'm not going to come work here anymore. And so the freedom from that job meant I might have to make some adjustments on the other end, which might have meant to live off the salary at a Starbucks, I needed to have a roommate or two. And so
Hmm.
I was going to suck it up and do that if I needed to. Um, if you're not a weirdo like me and that's not a problem, yeah, that could save you, because I imagine rent is probably your biggest expense. So that could save you a huge amount of money
Yeah.
in a very short period of time.
Hmm. Yeah, most people, I would say, have accommodation is taking out the biggest chunk of their cash. Yeah, so a combo of getting a roommate or house sitting, right? In some parts of the country, in some parts of the United States, you can house sit full time, right? It makes more sense in some places than others to house sit full time, and then when you need to get an Airbnb or find a place to stay or rent a room from somebody, you do that in between. So cutting back expenses on accommodation, there are options. But don't forget that food, like seriously, the food thing really was my biggest helper. Like it surprised me when I sat down and looked at how much money every month was going to, and I wasn't even eating good food. I was just going to Wawa every day. I worked night shift, and I would go to Wawa. I would get up in the evening, eat. Sometimes I would eat breakfast, and sometimes evening breakfast, and then sometimes I would just go to Wawa and buy breakfast. I would buy breakfast, lunch, and dinner at Wawa, which is just a convenience store, the convenience store of all convenience stores. And right, so we're talking. I was averaging eight. I think it was something like $18 or $20 a day between Wawa and the hospital cafeteria, which was also inexpensive, right? So these were inexpensive options. But when I went to cooking my own food, I was down to like $5 or $10 a day expenses on food. So it works.
Uh,
Even when I roll my eyes at that advice, it does work.
Cell phone was another one.
Yes.
Um, I opted to go with like a discount provider, like a Mint. What was the other? This is pre-Mint, but along that line where they're piggybacking off of somebody else's network,
Hmm.
because why pay 75, $100 for a cell phone bill when I could pay 20?
Uh huh.
and then that money then goes to my fund.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I have used somebody like that too, not Boost, but one of those. I've used one of those too, because once you leave the country and you see how inexpensive cell phone service is around the world, it's really hard to go back. That's one of those changes. How much are you paying for your phone right now in Mexico?
Uh, $10. And I would really like to pay less, but all of the plans that are under $10 aren't for 30 days.
Okay. What do you mean?
Like I could top up with 250, but that would only give me like, I think 15 days, 12 days of
Uh,
service or something like that. And my mind, I'm not going to keep up with that.
yeah.
So, I need it like every 30 days.
Yeah.
So the cheapest I can go is $10.
Okay. Is it Telcel?
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah, I had the Telcel Amigo Sin Limite plan. Yes, $10 a
Yep.
month. Yeah, and then some things didn't even count towards internet usage, like Facebook. I think Facebook and Instagram and some of that stuff didn't even count towards your usage. Yeah, $10 a month. Uh, let's see. In the Philippines, let's see, it might have been Cambodia, either Cambodia or the Philippines. I went in and I paid for $5 of service, and they were like, "Well, how long are you going to be here?" Like, ain't no way you're going to use $5 of service, because they also had free Facebook and Instagram and stuff didn't count towards your data usage there too. Yeah, and I remember being like, "It's $5," and they're like, "This." Unless you're here for months and months, this is going to outlast your tourist visa. Yeah. So once you come back to the U.S., you're like, ain't no way, ain't no way, there's
Yeah.
no way.
No.
I have Google Fi now, which is okay because I don't leave the house, so I'm always using Wi-Fi anyway. So it's okay that I'm paying by gigabyte. Yeah. All right. So Lauraville, I'm going to direct you to Adelia's channel, okay? Because Adelia has a wonderful video on health insurance. I'm just going to give you the title because that's another thing I didn't prepare. I didn't prepare the link. Travels. If we go to youtube.com/pickygirltravels, is it going to
Uh-huh.
show up? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Picky
type it
Girl
in.
travels the world.
Okay. All right. Adelia has a wonderful video on insurance that we're not going to go over it. Okay. Picky Girl Travels. So if you're here in the chat, you can click on this link and it will open up in a new tab. Pick a Girl Travels the World, so that you'll see it right there. If you're watching the replay, I may have actually linked to that video in the replay in the description. All right, but go to Adelia's channel. So Adelia is a permanent resident of Mexico. She's not just chilling in Mexico and then coming back on tourist visas. She's a permanent resident of Mexico. So she's got videos for people who need that kind of information. If you need insurance, go watch her videos on insurance. Health insurance in the U.S. is not priced like health insurance in other parts of the world. So you can
No.
likely insure yourself for $1,000, maybe $2,000 for a full year with private insurance. So watch her videos on that. Okay. Yes. Janelle says Mint Mobile. Yeah, Janelle travels a lot too. Yeah, once you see what other people are paying for internet and for phone service, you're like, oh, ain't no way. I'm going back to this expensive stuff. Okay.
Or you get on somebody else's family plan.
Mm,
So when I was in Honduras and the first year I lived in Mexico, a friend of mine had a family of four on T-Mobile, and so they then added me to their plan. So because I only used T-Mobile when I traveled,
hmm
so I just paid, I think it was like $11, $12 a month. And to have one, I got a US number, and two, I could use it whenever I traveled and I didn't have to bother with trying to get a SIM card most places.
Yes. Right. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Because that's the trade-off. You do have to get a SIM card in that country, and you're going to have that country's phone number. So if for some reason you need the same phone number everywhere you go, it's not convenient. Kathleen, don't feel bad. We've all been there. Don't feel bad. I'm telling you, I was paying $100 a month for DirecTV, and all I watched was Law and Order and the Golden Girls. Right? Don't feel bad. We've all been there. Yeah. Content coming soon says I went to prepaid when I was leaving. Verizon took an hour on the phone to get it canceled. Yeah, they treat you so bad. Prepaid is the best way. Same service for half the price. That's right, because like Adelia said, they just use the expensive companies' towers, which is the same thing that Google Fi does, as far as I can tell.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
that's what
using
they do.
so everywhere you go, you're on a different cell phone tower, and you're paying a fraction of the price. Yeah, straight talk. Okay, so I'm glad to see a lot of us are not paying these exorbitant Verizon prices. I'm glad to see that. For a long time, I just wanted a boyfriend so I could get on his cell phone plan. I feel like they could sense that. And it never happened. And then I just left the country. So boom, who won? I won. Okay, MB2, let's talk about some wheres. Okay, so we talked about you need to have a goal, but to set a goal, maybe first we need to have some ideas, some options. So let's talk about that. MB2, I'm seeking a country to move to that is near water, has a great cost of living, and airfare reasonable. I assume you mean airfare to come back to the US. Any suggestions? Tell us about your favorite places, Adelia.
Well, my favorite places are not near the water, unfortunately. But um, when you say airfare is reasonable, because when I lived in Honduras, airfare was not reasonable. No one hardly flies there directly. The location of the airport is on the side of a cliff between two mountains, so that restricts which pilots can fly in. Yeah, I don't know whose bright idea it was to build it there because they actually had a problem where the plane didn't stop and it went off the cliff. Um, so there were very few flights, which made them really expensive. And that was one of the reasons I couldn't stay there long term. So if you're thinking about reasonable airfare, it's got to be someplace that probably has a substantial tourist
Mm-hmm.
population. If you're talking about a beach location, if you're talking about cities, well, you need to think about what are major hub cities, which is why Mexico City makes way more sense for me than Tegucigalpa did. Um, Near water, well, does the water have to be ocean? Can you deal with a really nice lake? Um, Cost of living, if the
Just say
world was
Portugal. It's
open.
Portugal. The answer is Portugal. I don't know why Adelia's echoing that. We all know
That's
it's
true.
Portugal.
Portugal, no, Portugal checks all of those boxes. That is so true.
Yes, Portugal. It's all coast, right? It's all coast. 300 days of sunshine.
Coast, it's good weather. Uh, Airfare is reasonable
Yes,
to most places. So,
yes.
yeah, no,
That's the answer. Okay. So, other solutions. There are parts of Mexico where you're going to get on the coast, Puerto Escondido, right, and Puerto
hmm
Vallarta, and where you're going to be on the coast and still near an airport. So in Mexico, you're going to need to be able to be near an airport that can get to Mexico City, right? So you're not going to get direct flights probably from down in Puerto Escondido or from over in Puerto
no.
Vallarta, but you are going to be able to easily get to Mexico City to get back to the US. Those are great choices. Anywhere in Central America, Panama, or not anywhere, but like Panama City. I don't mean anywhere in Central America, but like the Panama City is also beachy, right?
Yes, but cost of living in Panama, if you're not retired, because with their retiree, with their pensionado visa, there are a ton of discounts they get, like 50% off this, all of that. But if you're not retired, I don't know that I would consider Portugal to have a very good cost of living. A
Okay.
friend of mine recently moved there, and when she's showing me how much things cost at the grocery store after being in Mexico, I can't handle those prices.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but like possibly Nicaragua.
Mhm.
Like Nicaragua and Guatemala might be good options.
Mhm.
Definitely should be a little bit better on cost of living. Um, Guatemala City is fairly well connected. You're not going to be, if you're on the water, you're not going to be getting direct flights, kind of a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. And you didn't say that you needed airfare back to the US to be reasonable. So if we're talking a place where you can get there and then bop around other places reasonably, a lot of Southeast Asia is going to fit the bill. Expensive to get there. It's going to take you a long time to get there, but once you get there, you can bop around to the rest of the world pretty easily. So there's a lot of, the answer is there are a lot of places, a lot of choices. It's just a matter of what you want your life to look like. If you need to come back to the US, then I would say stick closer to the US. Don't go too much further than like Western Europe, right? You know, if you need
Yeah.
to get, if you need to be able to get back. And even parts of Africa, which are closer than parts of Western Europe, are harder to get back to the US. You know what I mean? Harder to get back and forth. Okay, so we have a work from anywhere toolkit that has some resources that you might really like to use. Anybody who is like just ready to explore where they want to go and what's it going to cost there and what's life going to be like there. You should check out our work from anywhere toolkit, which I have too many windows open so I can't find it. But I promise it's a thing that exists. It's at exodussummit.com/toolkit. So in that work from anywhere toolkit, you'll find our list of 50 cities where you can Airbnb for $500 a month. That's a good start at looking at what cost of living is for different places in the world. And you'll find links to the resources that we use to look at cost of living around the world. Numbeo.com, The Earth Awaits, Nomad List. Okay, finally I found it. Okay, so the Work from Anywhere Toolkit is a resource that will help you look into where you want to go, right? So Adelia, after you taught in Honduras, how did you decide where you were going to go next? How did you decide now that you've got options, and I assume you had a little cash by then?
I did. I did. Even despite taking a 60% pay cut, I still saved 50% of my salary
Mhm.
living in Honduras. And when things didn't work out, I did not have to go and get a job. I made a choice that I will not work this next year and we'll see what happens after that. Um, I had been country shopping previously, so I had these ideas of the characteristics of a place I was looking for.
Okay.
My time in Honduras helped me refine that further because I figured out there were certain things that were absolute, like I have to have this, like a solid international airport.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I then used that and I sat down with the Earth Awaits and kind of just figured out
Mm-hmm.
what looks like viable options. I wanted to keep trying to learn Spanish.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's how I ended up in Mexico City, because it was out of Mexico City and Medellin,
Okay.
Colombia. And I ended up in Mexico City.
Okay. Those are two good choices. I've never been to Colombia, but people seem to live well down there, you know, in
I've
Medellin.
only been to Cartagena. I
Okay.
haven't been like inland yet.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you see expats down there and they seem to live okay. Like, you know, we talked about how you see people who move to Hawaii and they're struggling, right? They're living in shanty towns because they can't afford it. You move to Hawaii, but you can't afford to Hawaii. But you go to people who go to Medellin they seem to do well. Yeah. All right. I'm sorry. I saw a good question and I was like, let me make sure I get back to it. I have no idea. I don't know whose it was. I'm sorry. All right. So let's acknowledge our super chats again. Thank you very much for these super chats, friends. We've got some new ones. Beverly, thank you very much. We appreciate you. Welcome. Simona, thank you, Picky Girl. Love all the support. Black Girl Magic, yes, ma'am. Thank you for hanging out and thank you very much for that super chat. Angela, thank you for your super chat. Thank you both so much for being such an inspiration to all of us. I love learning from my peers that have done it. It's one thing to talk about doing it and another thing to actually do it. I think putting a deadline on your goals is very important. Absolutely. Thank you very much for that super chat. Again, all super chat money is going to Adelia today. So if you get some good, helpful info from her, you can drop her a little cash. Yeah, Angela. So absolutely, you do need a deadline. When we talk about setting a goal and getting your plan together, all of that is for nothing if you don't actually do it. If you don't actually execute it, right? We talked about it. I asked how many women here had felt like they had the money to go and just haven't gone. You don't want to be in that position indefinitely, right? You don't want to be in that position just perpetually, waiting, perpetually planning. And I think that a deadline is one of the big difference makers. I know I'd say everything is a difference maker, but having a deadline is a difference maker.
Yeah, like my lease was up. my lease was going to be coming up. My car was about to be paid off, and it was like all I could ignore the universe lining all these things up, or I could use them, and then that became my deadline.
Uh-huh. That's right. Yeah. I think I have like a natural September. So I was in school for many, 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 many years. I was in college for I don't even know how many years. And so I have like a natural September restart that happens with me all the time. A lot of new things that I've done, I've started them in September. It's like once the trees start to turn, I feel like I got to start something new. And so for me, my deadline for getting out of the country was September, right? I was like September 21st was my deadline because I knew I wanted to be at a specific festival that was happening in Thailand, the Chiang Mai Lantern Festival, Yi Peng and Loy Krathong. There's one is the Lantern Festival and one is the Water Festival. I wanted to be there for those things, and so it made it easy for me to set a date. Some of us in the chat, I believe Krishan has a birthday deadline, right? Yeah. So we need to it's give yourself that. At least give yourself that so that you know that this is more likely to happen. Even though my deadline was September 21st and I knew what day I needed to go into work and give my 2 weeks notice, don't you know I didn't do it that day? I was like scared, but then, right, I got this deadline and then I had already bought the plane ticket. I got this plane ticket. So that deadline made me I have to do it, right? Without the deadline, I might still be working at the pharmacy and like have sitting on the money, but like not sure about when I'm going to go and when I'm going to do it and watching everybody else, watching Adelia living her dreams and still unsure. Yes. Do you guys have deadlines? Krishan says hers is September. Okay. Okay. I know you're a Cancer. Your birthday's the end of June. Okay. All right, Janelle, my reset is October. It wasn't until a recruiter told me that I quit jobs in October and go back to work in April. I looked at my resume. Seriously, Janelle, same. I looked at my resume, like a new job almost every 4 Septembers. I was either at a new job or like not working at all because I've done periods of time where I didn't work before too. Yeah. Every September, there's like a natural reset. I think something about the back to school season. I'm like, oh, me too. Y'all starting the new grade, so am I. Mojo, what happens if the deadline passes? We're waiting on papers that should have been here 2 months ago. I don't fly once the snow starts falling.
You set a new deadline. Like that's out of your control. So you can't beat yourself up about things that are outside of your control. When I was supposed to be moving to Kuwait, oh my gosh, waiting for paperwork. Uh, Same thing with trying to go to China. So no, you set a new deadline.
Yes, that's right. That's right. You find some accountability though. If your no, Mojo's deadline is passing for circumstances beyond her control. If your deadline is passing, like my book deadline, just because I'm not getting it done, time to get an accountability partner. Deborah, if you're here, check your DMs. I need a book coach. Okay, I need a new coach. I hollered at you just today on Instagram. Yeah. So if your deadline is passing and you're not doing things because of your own inaction, time to get some accountability.
Someone named Stephanie Perry once said that if it's important to you, your calendar should reflect that.
Yes.
So if these things that are about making your move or taking your sabbatical, if you're not actually dedicating time and putting them and blocking them out on your calendar, well then yeah, you might struggle meeting your deadline.
That's right. For a lot of people, they say money talks, right? You look at your money, you can see what your priorities are. My money goes to literally, my money goes to chicken sandwiches. My money goes to Chick-fil-A and the Hatchery. When I was in Tampa, I don't even want to tell you how many times I ate at the Hatchery. Right. So my money goes to chicken sandwiches, but my time is where you can tell what's important to me and what's not important to me, really, right? Forget about what I say is important. Once I look at my calendar, I can see, oh, yeah, okay. I didn't write the book because I was busy messing around doing dumb stuff, right? I have made this my priority. Look at your calendar. That's good advice. I gave some good advice that day. Speaking of good advice, so I saw a question earlier in the chat. So, but I'm sorry. Let's see. I'm sorry. I saw a question specifically about coaching. Adelia is So Adelia, we've linked to Adelia's YouTube channel where you can get good information from her, but you can also work directly with Adelia. Okay, so Adelia's running a financial confidence boot camp. And I messed up the link. Let me relink that because I don't think you're going to be able to click that link. I need a space there.
I
Okay,
see a
so
couple names in the chat that have already signed up for the boot camp.
good, good. Okay, so who's it for? Who did you make this for?
I made this for people who they don't know what they don't know, but they know they don't know it.
Okay.
If that makes any sense. It's like, I know I should be doing more with my money. My money, I'm not controlling it. It is controlling me, but I don't have the background. I don't know the questions I should be asking. I am a very firm believer in empowering people to do things themselves. And very often people will tell you, well, go get a financial advisor. Well, that's somebody to tell you what to do. But if you don't know, if you don't have a base of knowledge, how do you know what they're telling you is in your best interest? So I want to help people have that base of knowledge. You know, we always complain about, well, they didn't teach us this in school. Okay, so that's what we're going to learn, that kinds of stuff.
Okay.
And so that's the idea behind the boot camp, and it is a boot camp. It's 4 weeks, because how many times have you signed up for a course, like a 4-month course, a 6-month course, and then by week 3 you fall off, you forget to log in, you know, that sort of thing. So I wanted it to be something very short and impactful.
Good. And is there some sort of community built in? I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but I don't know. If the
There
answer is no,
will
it's no.
be, there will be, and I'm apologize if y'all can hear my grandkids back there acting up.
Good morning. It's
That's
snack time. Almost lunchtime, Grandma.
and that's the world. But yes, no, and that's the other piece of this is that I didn't want it to be something that was just self-paced, because I think that isolation is part of what creates this problem, or the I want to say helplessness that people feel.
That's
So
right.
yes, there is a community piece of it as well, so that as more cohorts go through the program, you'll have this other group of people who are asking questions and who are learning things and sharing and that sort of thing.
Yes. All right. So there's special pricing. Dawn, I saw your question. There's special pricing that ends, I believe, tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow at midnight. Right now, you can save 50%.
Yeah.
On the price, and after midnight tomorrow it goes up.
All right. So if you're watching from the future, still go to the link, still join the boot camp. Okay. If you're here today, it's time to take some action. If you are a person who dropped that shrug in the chat, right? If you drop that shrug and you just don't know, right? The shrug, we said drop a shrug in the chat if you have no idea if you can afford the thing that is your dream, right? We would hate for that to be the end of it, right? I don't know. And so that's the end of things. We would hate for that. That's not what we're here for. We don't want that to be the outcome. You can change that, all right? So the boot camp is there for you. It's for women to get a handle on things. This is maybe women only, or
Those are my people.
okay, okay,
Those that's who I do all this for, is for Black women. I'm just gonna be real with y'all. That's who I'm out here to serve.
yes, okay. So I'm gonna put the link on the screen one more time, and I'm gonna say it out loud for those of you who are watching on TV. Okay, Adelia's Financial Confidence Boot Camp is at pickygirltravels.thinkific.com/courses/financial-confidence-bootcamp. Or you can Google it. Okay, if you go to Picky Girl Travels, you'll be able to get there.
There's
pickygirltravels.com. You'll be able to.
there's a link on the website. If you're on Instagram, the link is in my bio on
Okay.
IG as well.
Good. Okay, that's even easier. Okay, on Instagram, Adelia is Picky Girl Travels. Okay, because people I know, y'all watching TV, including my mom. Every people who are watching TV are like, I don't know how to get there. Somebody explain this to me. Don't email me is the answer. Don't email me for the answer. Go to Adelia's Instagram, Pinky Girl Travels. In her bio, you'll be able to get there. All right, Angela. Hi, Angela. Do you think that learning a foreign language helps you save money when going abroad so you can reduce being taken advantage of because you don't speak the language?
I think it does that, but I think it also sort of opens doors in a way that I don't want to I don't want to say like makes you part of a community, but it sort of de-others you. Like in Mexico, I don't care to be called a gringo because to me gringos are white people. And so we always talk about gringo pricing, and I don't know if I necessarily get the best price, but I feel like because I speak some Spanish and because I can understand what you're saying, like I can know like, oh, you're trying to get over on me or that sort of thing. So it opens some doors for me. But yeah, there's so many advantages, I think, to learning the language
Yeah.
of the country you're going to be spending some substantial time in. And that's just one of them.
That's another thing to consider when you're talking about going somewhere long term. Are you ever going to be able to learn this language? Even if it's just a sentence a day or a sentence a week or something, right? We're not talking about you go there, am I going to be fluent in 3 weeks? But like, are you ever going to be able to learn it? That's why I would not, even if Vietnam was a place that was open to people moving to, they're not super open to that. But even if they were, I don't know that I would choose it as much as I enjoy it because I don't know that I would ever be able to learn that language compared to Spanish or French or Portuguese or even like, and I don't know that I would ever be able to learn German, frankly. But even like Bahasa Indonesia, the Indonesian language,
Mm-hmm.
Bahasa Malaysia, those are languages I feel like, yeah, I could learn that. I could at least, if I can learn a word, then I can learn another and another. That's important. And so it's important to learn the language because you don't want to go there operating like a colonizer. I think that's like step one in the colonizer handbook. Don't learn their language. Force them to
Yeah.
speak to you in your language. And we don't want to
And
do
I think a lot of us think about, oh, well, I can never be fluent. I'm probably never going to be fluent in Spanish because I think my brain is just too old. Um, but the Spanish I do know, and my attempts at like trying trying to communicate, I think goes a really long way
that. Hmm.
in letting people know my intentions are good.
Hmm. Yes. Yeah, I think that's exactly what it does. I think that's exactly what it says. Yeah. I am here in peace. I'm not here to take advantage of you and then, make you regret ever letting me in your country. By Faith 48 Jr. I agree. When I was in Germany, when I at least tried to speak their language, they were more pleasant and more helpful. Yeah, that's one of the good things about moving abroad or taking a sabbatical abroad. It gives you time to like learn the language. You're not there on vacation. You have time. You can get yourself a tutor or download an app and get to work. Yeah. Okay, globes, name me. Okay, name me. So I asked you to drop a globe in the chat if you were working on your expat money moves, but you're feeling some doubt. So you're working your plan, you have a plan, and you're working on your plan, but either you're feeling, tell us, name me, are you feeling doubt, or are you just feeling like the plan is taking too long, or are you second guessing your plan, or is it just taking so long? Or is it all good, right? Do you want to give us a little more info about what that means? What I was at that point, right? When it took me 15 months to get the money saved up to go when I first took my career break or gap year or sabbatical. 15 months. And when I was working my plan, I kept a whiteboard and I kept like a notebook and I just tracked like literally every dollar that I put into that savings account. And that kept me going. And I felt pretty good. I felt like I was making progress. At the same time, I was like doing the little things you have to do. Bought the suitcase, and so that kept me feeling high spirited. But sometimes I do run into women who are on that plan and just don't feel good about it, right? Don't feel like either they get tired, or like they feel like the plan is taking too long, or
I think
maybe.
that's where it's important to seek out community. people, you can, like, if you're concerned that I don't know if this plan is realistic, I don't know, or I'm feeling some dissatisfaction with this piece, if you can talk to other women who are of the same mind frame or who are actually in the same process, that I think would go a long way in helping if that's the issue.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. We don't have a reply from Name Me. Okay, yeah. So that's our advice. Community. Okay, so it's the good time to talk about Exodus Homecoming. Community, another difference maker. Okay. Community takes you from uncertainty to empowered, right? It doesn't really take you from uncertainty to certainty, right? Because you don't feel certain until you do it. But it makes you feel empowered and keeps you from feeling like, I don't know. Am I doing this right? I don't know. When you get one person who is like, yeah, here's what I did, here's how I solved that problem, or I think you're ahead of it, right? I think you're ahead of the game. Man, the empowerment that you feel is unmatched. Okay, so let's talk about Exodus Homecoming. Rashida Dow, who is Sheeta's on the Loose, and I co-host a summit. This is our second year co-hosting a summit for Black women who want to plan a sabbatical or a career break, who want to move abroad, or who want to start like digital nomad life, something in between. We are running the summit online September 24th through 26th, all virtual, all online. Okay, we're bringing back alumni from last year to talk about how they went from attending the summit last year to now being abroad, right? Now being expats, now being on sabbatical, or a couple of them have taken a sabbatical and are now back at work refreshed, right? Or how they have started their digital nomad journey from being in your seat last year, like being where you are this time last year, to now actually living that travel dream that they've been able to put on paper. So they're coming back to talk this year. And we're also going to catch up with, in the meantime, some of the speakers from last year. Adelia was a speaker last year. Adelia spoke on solo travel. So we have these sessions from last year that are still super helpful and relevant. These are the sessions that got those women out the door. So we're doing a combo, right? We're doing a combo of the sessions from last year and these new sessions with these new speakers that are designed to tell you that this is for you, right? First, right? Sometimes we're like, this is good for her, but I have kids, right? This is good for her, but I have a job. This is good for her, but I'm running a business. We have women who are, whatever your butt is, we have women who have that same butt and who have done it, okay? So it's designed to give you that. And also it's designed to actually give you the tools to get your plan down. Get that plan on paper, right? We don't want you to walk away from the weekend feeling like you were inspired, but still no closer to taking your sabbatical. Some of the women who attended last year it was longer, but some of the women who attended last year, by the time it was over, we're done, right? We're done. I don't work anymore. I do not work anymore. I have determined that I am now embracing this new life now. Okay. So go to exodushomecoming.com to register. All right. If you are not sure about whether you want to take a sabbatical or move abroad, or if you want to be a digital nomad, come. Okay, we're going to get you over the hump. If you're not sure, but most importantly, if you think you want to do it and you just see your hurdles as barriers, if you think that these things that are hurdles to your sabbatical are barriers and they're a reason that you can't do it, I hope that you come to the summit, because you're going to learn how to overcome that hurdle, right? You're going to learn how to overcome it, or just walk around it. You go walk around the hurdle. Maybe you jump over the hurdle. Maybe you just walk around the hurdle. But we're going to, between the sessions that we're doing live, the sessions that we're going to watch together from last year, and the group coaching that you're going to get if you upgrade to the upgraded accelerated program, you are going to go from, I mean, it sounds great and I need it, but, right, to I'm doing it. That's all we want. That's all we want. We just want to take you from I need this thing to I'm doing this thing. We already have success stories, which is amazing. We already have women who have already taken that, made that change. And we want you to be in the number. Okay, we don't want you to keep watching videos of other people doing it. We want you to be in the number. Okay, so I've said everything that I can say. All right, I want you to be there. Alicia, excited, finally giving myself permission, taking the day off to soak it in uninterrupted. Yeah, so giving yourself permission is something that you see in a lot of different anything that you're talking to women about, any group, any coaching session that you do with a woman. That's what it's boiling down to. Do you think, Adelia?
Oh yeah, I'm thinking right now to how many times with clients I've been like, it's okay. You can give yourself permission to do this thing, that thing. Um, so yeah, no, that's a big thing. I
Yeah.
saw a comment. Somebody was talking about fear,
Mm.
and that made me think that that might be where some of the globes are. Like they've got the plan, but they are afraid,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to say I was never afraid,
Mhm.
but I think I don't sit in the fear. I'm like, okay, so if this is what I'm afraid of, how do I counter that? Because I don't want the fear, the thought of missing out on doing this thing that I want to do. To me, that's a bigger catastrophe than whatever this thing is that I'm possibly afraid of. So, that I don't know. Fear is one that's especially near and dear to my heart because it breaks my heart to see women say, "I can't do this thing because I am afraid." Do it anyway,
Do it.
but create a plan. So if I mean, like y'all, I moved to what at the time was considered to be the murder capital of the world with my 15-year-old kid. Like y'all are asking now about like, well, what about this place? What about this place? Let me tell you, there is no information about Honduras on the internet because nobody moves there.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
I was kind of moving blind, trying to put together the things that I did know, and we did it, and it was an incredible experience. When I stopped working and moved to Mexico, I had been working since I was 15 years old.
Mm.
And at 41, that was literally the first time I had not worked. And
Oh.
everything in my life told me that, oh my gosh, this, I should be so afraid. Like, this is scary. What happens if this and what if this? I got some FU money in the bank. I got some credit cards. We're going to figure this whole thing out. So I don't want fear to stop anybody from doing something. We
No,
find a
yeah.
way to work with it.
You can be afraid to do something and still do it. Yes,
Yes.
yes. That it's okay. We sometimes we get messaging that oh, you know, punch fear in the face. It's okay to be afraid and still do it. You can do it. Probably anything that you've done
You've
afraid.
been, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's okay. I want to sometimes you ever get like back when I used to go to job interviews, they'd be like, if you could put one of the last interviews, if you could put a billboard up around the world for everyone to read, what would you put? That's one of the billboards that I would put up. Yes. It's okay to be afraid. You can still do it. Yes. Just do it. Right. Right? That's not helpful. Just do it is not helpful. But you have the plan and you have the money. If the fear is winning, you need to find a way to make that fear lose, right?
Because I often tell people, like, what is it that you're afraid of? Is it the uncertainty? Okay, so how can you address the uncertainty so that you can continue to do this? Is it you're afraid of running out of money? Okay, so then how do you address that? Do you need to spend more time looking at cost of living, digging deeper and talking to individuals there so that you can feel a little bit more secure? Or do you need to build up an extra little bit in your account to counter that? So don't just stop at surface level fear, really dig down and figure out what is the exact thing that you are afraid of and how can you plan for that.
Sometimes in coaching sessions, I'm like, so what are you afraid of? And they're like, I want to take a sabbatical, but I'm afraid. What are you afraid of? I'm afraid I'm going to have to come back and take a worse job. I'm like, you're already living the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
You're already at a job you hate. You're living the worst case scenario. Give yourself permission to do the good, to go the best case route. See what happens. Yeah. It's okay to do things with fear. It's okay. Yes. All right. So a couple super chats. Hi, Mildred. Yeah. Okay. So yes, but they don't look seniors. So I'm gonna tell y'all this. Rashida and I meet on Fridays, and we just yesterday she was like, our speakers don't look old enough. We need a speaker. We need to add another speaker who looks like a senior. So we do have some speakers who are older, but they don't necessarily look older. So come, Mildred. Yes. Okay. Yes. It's hard with Black women. You be like, please tell us how old you are, because I'm assuming you're in your 30s, and then next thing you know, you're telling me your kids are in their 30s. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. So yes, but I don't know if we have anybody yet who looks like, I don't know. But yes, Mildred, yes, come. And then
And I hope to never look my age.
all I really want in life is to look 33 forever. And if I look older than 33, don't tell me, because I feel like I do. Don't tell me. Sandra Thigpen, thank you very much for that super chat. We're very glad you're here. Hello. Annabella, hey girl. Do we have a group? Are y'all in a group and you didn't tell me?
Oh, is that what that is?
Annabella, wait a minute. Did you start a group? Tell me. Okay. Somebody's supposed to, you're supposed to tell me about the group so that I will know. There's a group for Black, somebody was supposed to put together, by somebody I mean Mo Ward, was supposed to put a group together for Black women who wanted to do some surgeries around the world. Don't judge us. But I'm not in a group. So if that group exists, y'all got to tell me. You have to tell me. Hi, Abba. I'm not sure if I recognized this super chat earlier. Thank you very much for that super chat. As you know, super chat money is going to Adelia. Okay, let me look in here. Let me look in these comments and see. Am I missing something? Because if y'all have a group, you have to invite me. I got to get my eyelids done. All right. Although I did hear about plasma pen. This is off topic. Plasma pen, which may be the solution to my problem without surgery. So I'm going to investigate some things, which was why I need the group. I need the community to come together and tell me about their experiences and give me some info. Okay. All right. Welcome, Extraordinary Ordinary. Welcome. We're glad to have you. I did see someone else, and let me see if I can find this question about who is welcomed to the summit. I'm sorry. I did see it, but I'm sorry I can't find your comment about who is welcome to the summit. Okay. So the accelerated program, which includes group coaching and some on-camera events where where everyone will be on camera, that is for Black women. Okay. If you want to come to the summit and learn from us and, all of that, you can get the weekend pass. If you're not a Black woman, you're welcome to get the weekend pass. But the on-camera events, the Zoom group coaching sessions, and all of that are for Black women only. Okay? So that's the answer. If you would like to sponsor a ticket, if you wanted to come, but now you know that you can't get the accelerated program, but you would love to sponsor a Black woman so that she could come, we can do that too. Okay, our email is hello@exodussummit.com, and you can email us if you want to sponsor a ticket for another person, exodussummit.com. Okay? Okay. All right. All right. I'm glad to see that you guys are going to be there, because we don't want you to go another year without a plan. Seriously, I think it's time. Right. It's time to
It
get
is.
yourselves together. Although, so I'm reading a book. This is off topic again as well, Adelia. So we're going to wrap it up. Get your questions in for Adelia, because I feel like just chatting with her. I don't get to talk. Rashida gets to see her and hang out with her, and I don't. So I just want to hang out and chat. So let me tell you this. I'm reading a book about returning land in the U.S. to indigenous people. There's been a quiet movement of people who are at least leaving the land in their will to indigenous people to return the land back to them. So, and for years and years, I thought that our only recourse was to leave as Black women, right? Leave. It's not going to get any better here. Just go. But I'm starting to think maybe there is a legit, after having talked with Jewel about the tiny house communities and having talked with Mama Lynn about farming and agriculture here in the US, I'm starting to think maybe there is hope here on these lands. And then white people decided that they wanted to die from COVID, right? Like, so now I'm thinking maybe there is another shot, another chance. So do you think that there is, do you foresee yourself living in the US again? Or do you think that this is it? You're done?
No. Not if I can at all help it. I'm in the US now, and it is this is not my home. I am H-Town proud all day. I am a Texas girl, despite the BS that's going on here right now. But this is not my home. Mexico City is home. Uh, I'm not going to eat up everybody's time explaining how I arrived there, but no, if I can at all help it, I will not live in the U.S. Um, it's not for me. Now, I think part of it is, Gen Xers tend to be very kind of pessimistic on things. So I am definitely Gen X, where I'm like, this is it, burn it all down. But then there's like my youngest who wants to own a ranch. She is very much about, you know, changing the face of agriculture, bringing back more small farmers, Black farmers, that sort of thing. And that's great. I just can't carry that torch. I did my time.
Okay. Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. I did my time. I dedicated half of my life to the cause. I'm done.
Okay. Yeah. I wonder I wonder what's gonna come of the strangeness that's happening right now. Yeah, but I guess I don't wonder enough to not want to move to Portugal, because I still want to move to Portugal. So yeah, but I'm wondering if it's going to cause a bigger shift, a bigger ripple. I would really love to see some I would really love to see what happens when indigenous people get more land back.
See, that's a hard one for me because as a historian, I know how this goes historically.
Okay.
So it doesn't go well. It doesn't end well.
Okay.
So I am hoping that because we are in such a disruptive period in history in this country, that there is the possibility that that could happen. But again, I'm leaving that for them.
Okay.
Because and I know that this might be something that people who are watching this might be concerned with, is moving abroad and what happens if you are a single woman and you are older. A friend of mine, we live very separate lives right now, but the goal is to ultimately do kind of a Golden Girls move. And she came to terms with the fact, she's like, you're never going to come back here. So I'm going to have to move to some country you're in, or we're going to have to find a country that works for both of us. And I'm like, yeah, cool, because I can't go back.
Okay. Yeah, so I see a lot of the same responses. Yvonne has an interesting take. You have to burn it down before you can rebuild. Okay.
Yeah,
And then leave the rebuilding to the babies. Okay.
I'm with Yvonne on that.
Okay. So how do we feel about leaving family behind?
My children and my grandchildren do not live in Mexico. And, to me, is that any different than your people live in Minnesota and you live in Florida? At least now we have video calls so that when I am in town, they know who I am, like, because we've video chatted and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't want women sacrificing their happiness because of these prescribed roles and ideas about how we are supposed to be in life.
That's right. That's right. And we're here to tell you, you don't know how much of you is not really from you, right? It's from other people putting on you. You don't know how much of that is happening until you remove yourself. Free time, I'm telling you, free time is the cure for all of that. You need to remove yourself and give yourself some free time. And then you're like, oh, I never wanted that anyway. Oh, I was never interested in this thing anyway. This was never my cause to begin with. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like we are the most. So like I said, I went to school in two different. I went to two different high schools. I went to a very white high school and I went to a black high school. And the white people they just don't have these struggles, these questions, right? They're not
No.
on the internet talking about leaving family behind and what about no, they don't. Not that white people are the shining guiding light of good examples, but they just don't feel like they have to be responsible for everyone's happiness. Even white women, right? They just don't feel like they are the person who's responsible for what happens to everyone, like black women just do, or some. I don't. Yeah. All right, Golden Girls move. Okay. How long is she gonna before your friend is gonna be ready for her Golden Girls move?
I don't know. I mean, we have not put an age on it, but we know that ultimately, and again, because I like to be alone and I never got to be like live on my own for the first half of my life.
Oh yeah.
I am I am very much about I need my space and I don't want anybody in it. So, I don't know. We'll play it by ear right now. We are waiting for the world to open up to
Yeah.
consider visas, like we considered Ecuador because
Mhm.
Ecuador has a residency visa that literally if you have a bachelor's degree, you can qualify, like because they're trying, like that's it. And I believe there is a list of the universities, but basically if you've got a bachelor's degree from a legitimate university, you can qualify for residency because we both would still like to be relatively close to the United States because there are relatives there, but i'm we're also looking at like Spain and Portugal to see which one makes more sense.
Okay.
um so this is if I had to hazard a guess, maybe we're talking about 20, 30 years out.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, everybody, we're still living our own very separate lives at this point, but
Okay.
we like that's the retirement plan.
Okay. All right. All right. You're welcome, Dawn. Okay. So yes, Adelia does look very young. I told my mom when the first time she said, "Oh, Adelia looks so young." I was like, "She's not that young."
Y'all can't see the gray hair. Uh,
My mom said she's lived in all those places. She's so young. I was like, "She's not that young."
no.
I think that this is happening. I think that this is happening quietly. There are communities of Black women together. So if you've been to Lake Chapala, Mexico, in the last 2 or 3 years, you've seen Black women just hanging out together, living. Kiki ended up living their lives, not living together. I think most of them are living in their own homes, but community. They have formed a community. Um, um, Afro expats. Michelle Wedderburn from Afro Expats is growing her own community of Black women in San Miguel de Allende, Mexico. We talked right here to the global Black girl who's growing, like forming her own community of Black women. She's got like 17, I think, Black women in Escazú, Costa Rica. So it's happening. It's happening. Just like find some people and get somewhere. And then invite some more Black women there. It is happening. We're not the time when you have to go somewhere and be the only Black woman. I think that's
Yeah.
over.
No.
Yeah, you can find some friends there, and or just invite some new friends there. Enough Black women are looking to go that if you tell them how awesome your particular place is, they'll come there. Right? That's how I feel about Costa Rica. I feel like Costa Rica is underrated. It's not cheap. It's not Mexico inexpensive, right?
No.
But it's underrated.
But Costa Rica has a lot going for it.
Mhm.
If you don't if you don't need a place that is super super low cost,
Mhm.
Costa Rica definitely has a lot going for it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like we just need more people to talk about Costa Rica so that Black women will know this is a safe space for you. It's just a peaceful country, right? Full
Yeah.
of peaceful people. Although they do have some Nazis.
Which is interesting, but yeah, like Costa Rica got rid of its military and chose to use that money to fund education and healthcare. Like, that sounds pretty awesome to me.
It does. It does. You have to be careful when you're going to the countries like the U.S. When you're going to countries that got a lot of immigrants after World War II, right? You're going to go to there are the
Yeah.
Nazis there, and I feel like Costa Rica is one of those places where they may have harbored some Nazis, right? But you stay away from them. Just stay away from them. In the U.S., you can't stay away from them because they're everywhere, and they've made children and grandchildren, and But that's another story. Yeah, but I think that there are some places that are Golden Girls, Black women friendly communities. We just need to talk more about them. We just need to get there, see how safe it is for us, and then share, spread the word. Joanne, this sounds like something that you could start, right? If you want to start a community for Black women who are looking to live, and I assume that's what you mean when you say Black Golden Girls, right? That's what I think of. We're living together and we're sharing resources. Start it. Okay.
I think there are a lot of women who would be interested in that, but there, as I know of right now, there isn't a space for them to connect. Because again,
Yeah.
that's where a community comes in. But no, I think there are a lot of women who that might be the move for them.
Yvonne, can we plan? Who is we? Can we plan? Yvonne is a trip organizer. Okay. So when she says we, she means herself personally. Can I plan, Yvonne, a solo Black Girls in Portugal month meetup in 2022? You are plan it. Tell us when it is. Okay. I am available after April or May. After May. Portugal? Yeah. After May, I'm available. You plan it, you tell us. Okay. I don't know if Adelia wants to go, but you plan it, you tell us. Okay. All right. So thank you. Okay. So we've talked about where to get started. We've talked about what to do if you're stalled in the middle, right? If you're the globes and you're feeling a little stalled. Um, yeah, you're working on your plan. We've talked about what to do if you need some confidence. We've talked about Adelia's Financial Confidence Boot Camp, which is here, which you should sign up for because it's half price until tomorrow. Like seriously, right? It's the 5th, I think, right?
Yeah, the
Half
fifth.
price until tomorrow. Okay, so this is Adelia's Financial Confidence Boot Camp. If you just don't know, right? I don't have a clear picture about what's going on in my finances. I'm ready to turn that around because that is what's going to get you out the door. Then I'm not. Then join the boot camp. I think so. I am not available.
She just said,
After
no, you are
May.
not.
Yeah, after May. After May. Oh, maybe not. We are announcing something. So Rashida and I are announcing something during Exodus Homecoming. Okay, maybe I'm not available. I'm glad you're here. Maybe I'm not available. Okay, yeah. So if you feel like you need to be, if you feel like it's time for you to get a handle on things, then go ahead and get a handle on things. I just told you. I know it's time for me to get a handle on writing this book. I contacted a book coach just this morning. I DM'd her. Okay, coaching is the answer. It's going to get you from I need to do this thing, but I can't do it till it's done. I've never shown you my closet. I can't show it to you because it doesn't look good on camera, but it's done, right? Tosh came on the channel. We talked decluttering, and I was like, I can't do it. Tosh coached me up on decluttering. The closet is decluttered. On camera, it's just like it's not organized. I guess it's decluttered but not organized, so it doesn't look that good. So I don't feel like showing it to you will give you a good reveal. It's not going to be a good reveal. But I got coaching from Tosh, and now the thing that was weighing on me, like I got to do this thing, I can't do it, I don't want to do it, it's done, off my shoulders, lifted off my shoulders. Now it's spurred me on to redo the whole bedroom. I'm redoing the whole bedroom, right? That is what coaching does for you. It takes that burden off of your shoulders, and it gives you some stuff that you wouldn't know, right? I'm gonna let you go, Adelia. It gives you some stuff that you wouldn't know that you needed, right? It gives you community. Okay, so those are things you get. You get the accountability, you get community, and you get like actual legit help. Okay, so let's acknowledge our super chats again. Super chats are going to Adelia, and then I'll let you go because the kids are like, "Look, you said an hour." Kids are like, kids and Mia probably are like, listen, you said 1 hour, we're going on two. Okay, thank
She
you.
just wants her tablet. After she gets her
Oh,
tablet, she has no time for me. That's all.
oh, thank you for that super chat. This is the Trade Street. Thank you for that. Aunt Cindy, thank you kindly for the super chat. And I think Katrina, oh, maybe. I'm sorry, Katrina. I think I've read this, but I'm not sure. Hello, ladies. I saw last year's link for Exodus Summit. This year, I'm living in Portugal, in Lisbon, with recurring FU money and all. Recurring FU money. Yes. Admittedly, my plans were in progress a year before, but having a community is enriching. Yes. I'm so excited. So, okay. Yeah. I don't know that I knew that you were in Portugal already. I may be confused, but I don't think I knew that you were in Portugal. Maybe I did. Okay. Yeah. Community will help you get there. Yeah. Sometimes it's just the little things, a little couple little questions. Sometimes it's the big like fear and doubt, right? There you might be the cell phone, the small things about like cell phone service. Those are things community can answer for you. It might be something major like, listen, I am scared out of my mind. Either one, community can help you with those things, the big things and the little things. Thank you very much for that super chat, Angela. All right. Okay. Let's see. How did we do? I'm going to scroll real quick through. And I see a new one. Thank you for the super chat. Natisha? Hi, I think you're a new name. Welcome, Natisha. Welcome. And I hope I got that right, Natisha. All right, thank you kindly for that super chat. Okay, so we talked about those. Okay, so those are the things we talked about. We talked about getting your plan started. We talked about what to do if you're stalled in your plan. We talked about how to get some help. Okay, we've talked about Adelia's coaching program. We've talked about Exodus Homecoming. I hope we see you there. September 24th through 26th, all online, for Black women who want to take a sabbatical or move abroad or something in between. If you want to do some digital nomad stuff, something in between. All right. We invite you to join us at Exodus Homecoming. And Janelle, thank you very much for that super chat. Thank you, friend. All right. Okay. Adelia, thank you for coming on and for sharing with us. Thank you for giving us the tools. Yes, Cash App. Okay. My Cash App is $S Perry 302. Some of y'all don't like to do the super chat because YouTube takes money from it. My Cash App is S Perry 302. Yeah, so Adelia, thank you for coming on. Adelia, I always say Adelia is the most helpful person I know. She's even more helpful than my mom, who is super helpful. But my mom will, when she's helping, she will also mess up your stuff. I lost her. She didn't do my laundry, but she took my laundry out of the dryer for me one day, and some of them panties I haven't seen since. So she loses some helpful points. But you're helpful as always. We appreciate you coming on and for sharing with us. And we can't wait to see what else is going on with you. Besides, okay, so we have the link to sign up for the boot camp. We have the link for your YouTube channel, which is Picky Girl
Yes.
Travels. Any
Yeah.
places
Picky
you
Girl
want to?
travels the world. Um, I just did a whole series of financial videos for the month of August. They are all up there. Tomorrow, I will be talking live at 2 p.m. Eastern with Anne, who has a gorgeous apartment in Playa del Carmen. We're going to be talking about how did she buy it? What's it like buying property in Mexico as a foreigner? What's that process? That sort of thing.
Good. Okay, good. Some of y'all are going to be really interested in that because I saw lots of questions about that today. Okay, good. That's tomorrow at
2 p.m. Eastern.
2 p.m. Eastern time. So there's a link to Adelia's channel. Go ahead and go get on there now and subscribe. You can click the link right now and you won't lose us. Click the link, subscribe to her channel, and set that reminder so that you get the reminder when she goes live tomorrow because you don't want to miss that. All right. Thank you so kindly, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out in the chat, for participating, for answering each other's questions, for being each other's community. I appreciate that. Can't wait to see you at Exodus Homecoming. And Adelia, you take good care. And thank you. See you
Well,
tomorrow.
well. All right.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye, y'all.